Industry depends on go, no-go gauges, which measure work to tolerances less than a thousandth of an inch. These gauges quickly provide proof that standards of measurement are constantly met. In this way, control is maintained quickly by those who do the work, whether it be the raw stock or the finished product itself. Whether the product to be formed is a modern motor car, a child's toy, a Gemini missile, or a metal garbage can, the measurement of the raw stock and the finished product to certain acceptable standards is essential. As Cadillac salesmen, you too must constantly use go, no-go gauges to determine first whether a prospect, your basic raw stock, meets certain standards, and then to determine how closely you can fit Cadillac ownership to the prospect's buying needs. But I can almost hear you say, every Cadillac prospect is different from the other. There are no two that are alike. So how can there be a gauge to fit all? Well, to start with, there's one basic sameness all Cadillac owners have in common. It is the ability to buy a Cadillac. This is obviously an excellent basic consideration for us to think of as we begin our discussion of what makes a typical Cadillac owner. The go, no-go gauge you use to check your raw stock, your prospects, assumes many shapes and sizes. It goes all the way from a bank reference sheet to a copy of a local club roster. From your favorite finance man's opinion on credit to an ability to sense whether a man is a good risk or not. And of course, this business of sensing, of hunch thinking, is where many otherwise top-performing salesmen can literally put themselves behind an 8-ball of inadequate sales performance because of wasted selling hours spent on prospects who just don't have the money to become Cadillac owners, or missed opportunities to sell those who right now have acquired the means to buy, in which your hunch doesn't tell you to follow up. The man most of us think of as a perfect Cadillac owner type is, of course, this man shown here in a Cadillac advertisement. However, our experiences as retail salesmen make this very distinguished-looking person a somewhat rare fellow whom we hardly ever meet. Our owners and those whom we have not sold before are all different. Let's consider our Cadillac prospect, our raw stock, which we will form into Cadillac owners in our work as Cadillac salesmen. First, we know that Cadillac prospects can and do live anywhere. And whether you sell 10 or 200 Cadillacs a year, you must constantly apply a go, no-go gauge of financial ability to buy to prospects by the hundreds who come to you from all walks of life, from all ethnic groups, of every color, creed, occupation, and of every imaginable physical characteristic, and from both sexes. This man makes his living as a farmer. He's against any form of ostentation. He dresses like this quite often. And he thinks that certain standards of dress and conduct are ridiculous or shocking. And once you apply your go, no-go gauge of financial ability to own a Cadillac, are you prepared to use your skill and sell him? Or this man, a scrap metal dealer. He earns, as you will discover, enough money to own a Cadillac. Are you ready to sell him? His language may be strong, and he may not belong to the best clubs, but his money will spend if you convince him. This man in middle management, who because of his family obligations may not be a joiner or a member of anything more than the PTA and the local garden club, could very well be an owner prospect if you will apply to him the gauge of ability to pay. This chap, too, might be passed up in our search for prospects. He doesn't conform to our standards of dress and deportment, but he wins a rich daily double at times and certainly can afford a Cadillac at that time if you will keep in touch with him. This operator and leaser of a national chain drive-in may not be on your list, but check him out. Use your go, no-go gauge, and you may be surprised at what he will spend with you. This man holds down a job that pays him only $900 a month, but his wife is secretary to the president of a company, and their combined earnings certainly provide them enough money to own a Cadillac. So it becomes a matter of vital importance that as Cadillac salesmen, we rid ourselves of fixed notions about what it takes to be a Cadillac owner. That we accept the fact that if an individual can pass the go, no-go gauging of financial ability to buy and own Cadillac, then it is up to us as salesmen to sell him. For certainly the raw products that go to make the Cadillac motor cars we sell are all of them different. Yet, through Cadillac manufacturing, these raw products are formed into motor cars that are the standard of the world. In the same way, we as salesmen are called on to take all kinds of people who qualify for ownership, no matter how hard they are to find, and persuade them that Cadillac meets their buying needs. Now, this job of forming raw stock prospects into finished product Cadillac owners could be far more difficult than many care to admit. It, too, requires the go, no-go gauge of sales ability. In 1965 alone, over 166,000 people with incomes in excess of $20,000 annually bought another make car in the high-price group. It might be of interest to contemplate how many of these 166,000 prospects were prospects known to Cadillac salesmen. To you, for instance, 1, 5, 10, 25 that you lost. What was done or not done to cause them to buy another make? What can we do to assure that this number of prime prospects will not be lost in 1966? Let's start with this man. He is our farmer. By using our qualifying gauge, we have discovered that this man has adequate money to buy and operate Cadillac. The one big need he wants you to satisfy is the assurance that by owning Cadillac, he can get the best value for his money. You as a Cadillac salesman, using your go, no-go gauge of sales ability, should consider all the farmer prospects' buying inhibitions and satisfy them. Remember that in all studies made on how to sell the farmer, the need to prove service and service convenience and mechanical excellence of the product we sell is always given a high priority by him and is a real buying need for you to satisfy. The farmer also likes to trade and barter, which you can do very well at this time in the model year. And too, during June and July, the farmer is inclined to be more optimistic about the crops he is raising. The professional man, like the farmer, has certain qualifications that make him an outstanding prospect for Cadillac ownership. Doctors are concerned, too, about appearing as though they either make too much money or are upstaging their patients. You must satisfy these needs through personal reassurance and sales ability. The owner of the local laundromat or drive-in theater could very well be overlooked, since they may not fit any pattern of mine association as to how a Cadillac owner should look or act. However, by applying the go, no-go gauge of ability to pay for Cadillac and the go, no-go gauge of salesmanship, these men may very well prove to be very good prospects, real Cadillac owners. This man is a civil engineer. He wears muddy boots and a hard hat. He probably doesn't enter into many civic activities. He may be hard to find at clubs and other affairs. He spends his spare time working his radio rig. He's a real prospect, but you've got to find him. The ladies, too, bless them, are prime prospects whom one must never overlook as potential Cadillac owners. Project the silhouette of the American woman, and you discover that rather than having an interest only in spending money for clothes and household items, they actually control the purse strings of our American economy. In America, 60 to 70% of all consumer expenditures are made by women. Does this sound like a group that any Cadillac salesman should overlook as potential buyers? Cadillac during the June-July period is pouring out more persuasive advertising than it did after announcement time. Much of this advertising is being directed to the woman Cadillac prospect. Use this information. Sell Cadillac style, Cadillac comfort, Cadillac dependability, and prove what you're saying. Tell and satisfy your lady prospects styling needs to move them into the owner's circle. There is one fact that stands out in clear, sharp focus, and that is the image we all carry as owners, as prospects, and as salesmen of what a typical Cadillac owner looks like and is. Strange to say, no matter who the man is, once he becomes an owner, he adapts himself to his image as a Cadillac owner. But you as a Cadillac salesman must remain aware of this fact at all times, because it is easy to fall into a rut where only those people whom one expects to be Cadillac owners are contacted and worked on, while the rich fields of hidden prospects who can be made into owners by you could be overlooked. Like this man, who has been a careful, prudent provider, whose daughter has just recently graduated from college and is now married. He has been freed of a heavy financial obligation and could be a very real prospect, a very good potential owner. For the Cadillac owner, as such, fits many go, no-go gauges of ownership requirement. Looking at the vocations of typical Cadillac owners provides us a basic set of comparisons to make use of. Look over those prospects who fit into these broad categories. Apply your gauge of financial ability to pay and form the raw stock into a Cadillac owner. Check where your prospect gets his income. Consider how much he earns. For when the averages of owners not only of Cadillac, but of other cars in the high price group are ratioed, it becomes apparent that most owners earn in excess of $10,000 annually, plus returns from their investments. And the average age of the Cadillac owner has decreased. In other words, is your prospect a successful young executive in the 40 or under group, or is he a man or woman who fits in the 45-year age group? Cadillac owners are of all races, colors, creeds, occupations, positions in life, and of varied physical makeup. It is up to you to first determine if they fit the requirement for Cadillac ownership, and then apply your skill to create an awareness to specific needs, and then prove to them how Cadillac satisfies these needs. And remember not to be fooled if they aren't club members. Cadillac prospects are everywhere. Cadillac prospects can be sold now on the many buying needs that you can satisfy, not only now during the June-July period, but at all times. The big question is, what are you doing to change them into owners, to create the business you deserve and should get now at this time in the model year? Your profile of a Cadillac owner can be this man, this woman, this man, or this. But no matter what he may look like or seem to be, he is actually formed into an owner by just one person, and that is you, the Cadillac salesman. Formed by using your ability to bring new prospects into focus, and your skills as a creator of appreciation of needs, and how Cadillac can best answer these needs of all motor cars in the world. Yes, it's go, no go, all the way through June, July, and all other times in the year.